What is shaking, everybody? Happy Monday. Coming to you a little late on this Monday afternoon. What are we, the 11th? Yep, the 11th. Didn't even need to look because I know I have a doctor's appointment later in the week, and that's the 15th. So I got to get the shoulder taken care of. You don't care about my shoulder. I don't care about my shoulder other than the fact I'd like it to work properly. That would be nice, and pain-free would be good too. Anyway, a little late today. Had to drop the missus off at the SFO. She's going to Spain, España, with one of her high school best friend, one of her classmates are going to Spain together. So, which to me is like, I'm just gonna vacation, like sports vacation. I just sit around and watch sports all day. I kind of do that anyway. And so we got a little hockey on tonight, a little basketball on tonight, a little Dodgers Giants on tonight. We'll get the lineups for you a little later on in the show. But let's hit and we'll take some comments too, but let's hit the big stories today. Steve Kerr signs for 2 more years. So they did it over the weekend. Shams broke that story. Shams beat me again. I was like, damn it. I could have beat, this is the one time I could have beat Shams to the story, but I didn't beat Shams to a story. So Shams beat me again. It really hurts. They kick in the gut. But Steve signs on for 2 more years. He told me, I talked to him a little bit. I mean, I talk to Steve all the time, but I wanted to see if I could get him on the show. And he said he's got some stuff to do this week and going to Europe with the fam. So he said when he comes back, he'll be in the backyard. He'll come over in the backyard, hang out, and we'll find out what the fuck took so long. Like, why did this take as long as it took? They went about this in a very interesting way, like almost like, dare I say, adult-like way, where they both took their time. Both parties, being Dunleavy and Lacob on one side, Steve on the other side, and decided okay, what do we want to do? How do we want to approach this? Do we each want to work together? Do I want to be back? Do you guys want me back? If I want to be back, do you guys want me back? How is this thing going to work moving forward? So, and finally they decided that they were best together. They worked best together. So we'll find out if that's the case. All I know is it's a really good ownership group led by Joe Lacob. I don't know that I've seen enough of Mike Dunleavy over a couple years, but I don't think Mike's afraid to take chances. I think he's going to try to do what's best for the organization, try to win championships now. But you got to understand the GM also has to take the long view of things here too. And Steve's gonna want hey, let's try to win a championship while we got Steph Curry. I think Joe's probably like that too, but Joe could be okay, let's try to. He was the one that really tried to get the 2 timeline thing going, which again I wasn't as down on as everybody else was. It's easy to be down on it after it failed, and it was easy to be down on it after the draft picks that they had, but there was just a lot of circumstances that led that to not work. Although looking back on it now, I just don't think it can work unless your veterans are clearly on the back 9. Still good, but on the back 9. They clearly weren't on the back 9, and they weren't ready to give up any playing time, and they were trying to win championships. And a coach is always going to try to do what's best for the entire team in terms of winning championships. And if you have a chance to win championships, the young guys aren't going to play as much. They're not going to develop. And that's where I think a lot of Warrior fans were a little miffed. Hey, you got these guys, these young guys, put them in there, let them grow. I tried to explain to everybody, and I would still try to explain the same thing. Coaches do not develop players when they're trying to win championships if it's going to hinder the championship process. They want to play people that know what the hell they're doing out there, don't have to grow into the role, are already ready for the role, and are ready to help win a championship. And for the Warriors, there are plenty of those guys available, and the young guys just didn't get as good a chance as maybe they would have somewhere else. So there's a lot of different reasons it didn't work. There's a lot of reasons I don't know that it would ever work again, unless clearly your core, who have won championships before, are on the back nine, and you need an infusion of talent, and the young guys can come in and play and help win championships. So look, it did not work. I don't know that it could work. That's a long way of saying I think Joe Lacob is still kind of in the middle. Like, he wants to win now. Clearly, Joe always wants to win. Clearly, but I think he's looking toward the future too. I think Joe said one time that he wanted to do what the Lakers did, which was 33 years where you're always in the mix. You're winning championships. You're giving yourself a chance to win championships. Although the Lakers took a dip too in the mid 80s. I want to say it was like between kind of the very end of Showtime and the start of Kobe and Shaq. And then after Kobe and Shaq, there was a lull again before LeBron came over. So it's always a process. I mean, it's difficult to do what the Spurs did, which is 17. I think it was 17 straight years of 50 wins. Like, that's almost impossible to pull off. It just is. I mean, you think, it's easy. We just got to make this move and make that move and make this move. Well, yeah, hindsight 2020. Of course, you know who to draft. You know who to go after in free agency. You know who you should trade, who you shouldn't trade. There's all kinds of things. And that retrospective can be done and put a bow on it once this era is completely over. Do I think the championship era is completely over? Not completely, but it's going to be tough. It's going to be, I mean, look at these young teams. Look at San Antonio. Look at OKC. I mean, OKC is still loading up on draft picks. Like, that's the team that needs more players, that needs more ammo. Like, seriously? Yeah. Indiana's going to be back. There's going to be some good teams in the league. So, look, it's just going to be hard. Who knows what the Clippers are going to want to do now? Do they want to trade Kawhi, or do they want to keep Kawhi and pair him with the 5th overall pick? So, we'll see what happens this offseason. But I do believe if you're going to have Steph, and you're going to have Draymond, and you're going to have Jimmy, and you're going to have some veterans, Steve's the way to go. I mean, Steve's a fantastic coach. You know how I feel about Steve. We don't need to go into that. His coaching abilities, his leadership abilities, this is the coach for this team. If they were moving in a different direction, starting to get younger, starting to look at it from a different vantage point, you look at the prism a little differently and say, okay, this era is over. How do we transition to the next era? Maybe that's not something that they would be interested in, having him coach them. Maybe that's something he wouldn't be interested in. I do know this, when I talked to him, he just expressed how much he loved to coach. And I that's what coaches love to do. They love to coach, is what they do. I mean, the money ain't bad either, but they love to coach. I've told this story many, many times, but Greg Popovich told me that he was going to retire when Duncan retired. And then about 4 or 5 years after Duncan retired, I asked him, I go, what are you still doing hanging around? He goes, what am I going to do? I got nothing to do, and I love doing this. That makes sense. But, I mean, there is a lot of stress that goes with it. And there's a lot of things that I think coaches, if they didn't have to deal with, would be really, really happy, and probably drives them to retire if they get a chance to do it of their choosing, more so than just the teaching and the coaching. That they love to do. They love to coach. They love to teach, and maybe even more than the games, some of them. So 2 years, I think that makes sense. One didn't make sense. We did that this year. I mean, they did that this year. I don't think they want to do that again, where it's like 1 year. And I thought they did a pretty good job of it, that there wasn't a lot of speculation. They didn't bring it up to Steve all the time because Steve said, I'm not going to talk about it. I don't want to get into it. So I think 2 years. Now, this one's going to go by quick, and then the next year, that'll be the last year as well. But I don't know. Something tells me this could be it. So I don't know, though. Again, never trust coaches when they tell you they're done. They love doing it. They love coaching. They love teaching. And a lot of them think, well, what else am I going to do? The only thing I can see Steve doing is possibly like going into a Pat Riley role, where he just kind of the overseer of all things basketball for a organization. Possibly doing something like that. But I think he wants to stay involved with the sport. I mean, he loves basketball. He loves basketball. So I just think he's going to be there. Um, and look, and Southwest says he looks stressful. It's a stressful job. Go look at his hair from 2015. He was kind of blondish back then. There is no blondish left. It's gray. Not even grayish. It's just gray. Now, you age 10 years, that's going to happen. But that job is stressful. That is a stressful job. That's why guys they get burnt out. I mean, Doug Collins, it took 10 years to look like he looks. It'd take Doug Collins like 2 years. Like after when Doug Collins was coaching after 2 years, you'd be like, good Lord, what happened? You're the president for 2 terms? What happened to you? Like they lost weight, gray hair, just like, man, that job takes it out of you. So I'm happy for him. I think it's good for the organization. I know the players, Steph and Draymond, and those players are happy that he's back. We'll see what happens. They got the 11th overall pick. Is that something they could use as a trade package? Yeah. Could they draft somebody? Yeah. I mean, I don't know what they're going to do. They got all summer to figure that out. You know, what they want to do. Can they bring in another superstar? Can they bring in another star? If they do that, that would probably mean somebody going. I can't imagine they're going to bring in another. There's no way they could bring in another star without having to let someone go or trade someone, whether it's Draymond, whether it's Butler, who knows? Sign and trade Porzingis. Don't know. That's another decision they're going to have to make, whether they want to bring Porzingis back. Because look, I think that's a pretty good team. Pretty good. Like top 4 seed good, maybe. If you have the core of it being Butler, Steph, Draymond, and Porzingis, a lot of ifs there. A lot of ifs. I mean, can they stay healthy? Who knows? Who knows? Can Porzingis stay healthy? Who knows? Only the shadow knows. Can Steph stay healthy? I don't know. Is that runner's knee going to be something that pops up 6 weeks into the season next year? That one seems to be a little scary. Draymond health. Who knows? Jimmy Butler, he won't be back until after the first of the year. Moses Moody won't be back until after the first of the year. So there's a lot of moving parts there. I know they'd like to take a swing. I read somewhere today where Giannis said he if he wants to go to a team that has a chance to win a championship, but he wants to stay in the East Coast. He wants to be in the Eastern Conference. So last I checked, Warriors aren't in the Eastern Conference, so that would definitely count them out. It's Kawhi Leonard, LeBron James. You know, look, wherever LeBron goes, he's gonna have to take a massive pay cut, I think, if he wants to compete for a championship. Who knows? Who knows what he wants to do? I mean, who knows what Kawhi wants to do? What they want to do with Kawhi? Who knows what's going on with this whole Aspire thing? And how that affects him being traded, him not being traded, the circumvention of the salary cap. So we're just getting started, And look, Warriors didn't move up, and at least the Thunder didn't move up. Man, if you're the Kings, brutal. If you're the Pacers, brutal. I mean, Pacers just ouch. Ouch, ouch, ouch. On the Ivan Zubats trade. Yeah, we're protected 1 through 4, and we're 5th. Kevin Pritchard came out on Twitter. I'm really sorry. I thought we were due some good luck. But dude, look, I would have done the trade. You got a center for this team. You thought you'd be 1 through 4. You didn't get it. and you end up losing your pick in this loaded draft, that hurts. But Zubac's still a really good player, and he's really going to fit in with that team. They might actually be the favorite next year in the Eastern Conference. But yes, it hurts. There's no doubt about it. There's probably 7-8 guys in this draft, 7-8 deep. They're pretty good, but there's going to be misses. There always is misses. So I'll take your thoughts on that. If you want to get into that, got any questions on Steve, him signing for 2 years, the Warriors moving forward. Hold on to those though, because we got to get to Patrick Bailey. Patrick Bailey being traded to the Cleveland Guardians for some dude named Tugboat and the 29th pick, which I didn't even think you could trade picks. So I looked it up. I go, what the hell? When did this happen? But is it a competitive balance pick that you can trade? Like all these rules. I mean, you got the NBA with their rules that you can trade this guy, but you can't trade him till this date. In baseball, that you can't trade picks. In basketball, you trade picks, but you can put protections on them. And I thought the same thing. God, what are they going to do with all those Bailey beers? They're good beers, though. Like, I don't know what they're going to do with them, but I would suggest going in and if they do, even if they don't have them on sale, go grab yourself a Fieldwork a Strike Thief. It's a good lager. It's a fantastic lager. I don't know. It might even be a collector's item now that Patrick Bailey is gone. So, but I'm going to keep drinking them. I don't really care who's on the can. We should thank Fieldwork for sponsoring the show. Locations all around the Bay Area. Going to a Giants game, China Basin. Go over there, great views. And if you can't make it to the game, you can watch on a big screen and the ambient sound. It doesn't get any better than that. And you can bet your buddy every time somebody hits a home run because you hear the sound. You go, hey, I bet this guy hits it out. I go, how much? $20? Boom. Bam. Oh, home run. Win. Or you just bet him a beer. And he'll buy you a beer. Mission Rock will be opening up soon. San Leandro, San Ramon, the OG over in Berkeley, along with plenty of other locations. So head on over to Fieldwork, get yourself a non-alcoholic beverage, which are very, very tasty, by the way. I still like the fully leaded personally. I might have a Clear Skies tonight. I got the only problem was the Clear Skies. I got them. And when you get like a 12-ounce can of craft beer, it's like, it feels so small. I feel like Andre the Giant holding like a Budweiser, like you can't see the can. My hands aren't that big, but I'm used to a 16-ounce, a sturdy can of craft beer. So if you get a 12-ounce can of craft beer, you think, this is tiny. But the Clear Sky is one of my favorites over there. So you can head on over to Fieldwork, pick yourself up a 4-pack, or you can get the Pale Ale Designer Nugs. Still not sure about that name, but it's a fantastic beer. You know me, I love my Pale Ale. So head on over to Fieldwork and patronize my good friend. And they do like Barry Braden, one of the owners over there, and they just do things the right way. And I love the fact that they love animals too. They give thousands of dollars to Berkeley Humane. They're a big part of Pints for Paws. So if you love beer, you love animals, and you love like heading out, hanging out with some friends, maybe grabbing a pint or two, head over to Fieldwork. And not only you get great beer, you feel good about it because you're like, hey, these guys like animals as much as I do. And if you don't like animals, then beat it. Go somewhere else. If you're not a big animal lover, or at least a liker, for God's sakes. There you go. Corte Madera, Napa, Monterey. They're like all over the place. They're just taking over Northern California. Been to the one in Sacramento too. San Mateo I've been to most. I haven't been to Santa Rosa. A little far, a little steep for me. That's a little out of my range. So maybe one of these days. So here's the thing with Bailey, right? In this one's going to take a while to figure out, was it the right move, the wrong move? Was it an impulse buy where you're just like, oh my God, I can't look at him hit again. I just can't. Because he is a fantastic defensive catcher. There's no doubt about that. By all the metrics, the best defensive catcher in the game, maybe the best defensive catcher in the game for quite some time. So he is outstanding. If you wanted to base it just off of WAR, what is it good for? then is a horrible trade. A horrible trade. But I don't know that you just make trades based on war. Your war is better than his war. Now I know baseball trade values does like surplus value, how much each player is worth, as far as like they attach a monetary figure to it, and baseball trade values said that it was a massive underpay by the Guardians, meaning the Guardians got a great deal out of this. Not only do they like Bailey because of the defensive abilities, but they like it that he's still under team control. Although, what I have noticed about baseball trade values is they don't like people named Tugboat for whatever reason. I don't know why. I don't know if you start off with a negative war like Tugboat, but I like tugboats. Tugboats they're sturdy, they're thick, kind of like this tugboat, and they just get the job done. Right? They're not the big war airline. What I'm looking for, aircraft carriers. I was like, I took both the words apart, like I deconstructed them. They're not like the big awe-inspiring aircraft carriers. They're not the battleships. They're not the yachts that are just like, oh, look at that thing. That is incredible. Wow, that's beautiful. Like, nah, they're just tugboats. They're but they get the job done. Like, look, what do you need? I'll get it done. That guy ain't getting it done. They ain't getting it done. I'm getting it done. You need that hauled somewhere? Oh, you don't think I can do it, huh? Watch me do it. Watch me do it. That's what tugboats do. They just get shit done. So we'll see if this tugboat can get shit done. They get the 29th pick. They already have the 4th pick. Apparently, this draft is loaded. Not that you would ever know it. But who knows? A baseball draft on TV is one of the worst ideas that I think sports has ever had, because no one knows these guys. Nobody knows these guys, and you're not going to see them for 4 years. Basketball, we've seen them. Football, we've seen a lot of them. And hockey, not really. But baseball is like, let's put it on TV. You're like, who are these people? No idea who they are. None. Like, maybe one day we'll watch enough college baseball to know who they are. The high school kids, nobody knows who they are. That's problem number one. Problem number two is we don't see them for like 3, 4, 5, 6 years. You get so excited about somebody drafting. Oh, this guy's going to be incredible. Where is he? Have you seen him yet? Anybody seen this guy? He's supposed to be really good. Ah, he's tearing it up in single A though. High single. High single. High single. You just you forget about him. You just forget about him. Now that's not everybody. Some of the picks, you may recognize. Maybe if you watch college baseball, not many of us do, unless it's College World Series. But theoretically, the Giants should get somebody good with the 4th pick. But you want to talk about crapshoots? You think football and basketball are crapshoots? Like baseball, it's the biggest crapshoot. Like the biggest crapshoot. It's also, like the other sports, a great way to rebuild your system and rebuild your team with young, affordable talent. It's the way the Astros did it. I mean, they got high draft picks and they just hit on them. I'm not sure where all these guys were drafted, but they hit on Springer. They hit on Correa. They hit on Bregman. They already had Altuve. They just kind of went out and got some pitching help. Had some other dudes. The Alvarez trade was one of the biggest steals. I mean, that if you think the Dodgers never have a misstep, that's the one. That's the one. Where they traded him for Alvarez for a relief pitcher. I think it was Fields. I think it was. It's like, okay, I don't know who Alvarez is. And 3 or 4 years down the line, you're like, ooh. Can you imagine the Dodgers with that dude batting 3rd or 4th for him? I mean, they're already scary enough. You put that dude in the order. Good night. They would have signed him to a $500 million deal. They'd have paid him I don't know, $140 per year, and then just deferred everything else. Hey, we're gonna give you $1.40 this year. Is that cool? Yeah, that's cool. Just defer it. All right, we're good. We're good. We're good. We're good. We're good. But that's, you got to hit on these draft picks. So, we'll see. So anyway, back to the Bailey trade. So this is because the people had some strong feelings on this, and I don't know. I didn't have any strong feelings on this one because Bailey clearly is a fantastic defensive catcher, best in the game. He clearly, even with the ABS, is able to frame pitches in a way that fools either the umpire or the batter into not challenging. I mean, that's valuable when you can frame a pitch in such a way that the batter doesn't challenge it, even though it was outside the strike zone. So that, I was wondering how that would play out. Didn't really think about that. And when he does challenge, he's usually right, I think. Oh, nice. I'm going to have to go up there and try that one of these days. Probably not. But I could be up there. You never know where I'll be. Fat Tug. Oh, Fat Tug IPA. Just as long as it's below 7, we're good. So if you were someone that felt like the Giants got robbed, the Giants should not have let Patrick Bailey go because you clearly defense is something that you covet. And defense is something you look at and say, we always could use a good defensive catcher. Clearly, Cleveland's super pumped that they have Patrick Bailey on their team. Like super pumped that they have Patrick Bailey on their team. The problem is, and we all saw it, is he had what is it, a WRC, like weighted runs created. I'm not sure exactly how this works, but I think every time you hit the ball, it's like that based on velocity and where you hit it, that creates like a 10th of a run or 200th of a run or a half, or who knows exactly how they do it. And then it's weighted for the ballparks and stuff like that. Like I didn't really look into it because I think once you look into weighted runs created, and like everybody's like, well, why don't you just look and find out like what it stands for? I think I'm close, but I don't want to look into it because then the nerds have you. You look in, you start reading about that stuff. Nerds got their hooks into you, and I don't want that. So I got to keep my mind. I got to keep my mind free and my mind loose, and I can't be getting bogged down in weighted runs created. I do know this though. I do know that 100 is league average. 100 is league average. He was 16. 16. That's almost like going up there without a bat and just standing there and doing nothing. I don't know if weighted runs created go into the negatives. Like, can you have a negative? I know you can have negative WAR, but I don't know if you can have a weighted runs created negative value. Maybe you can. With what you just did up there, you were so bad, you actually created runs for the other team. Don't ask me how. I don't know how it happened. I just feed stuff into the computer, right? It's like string theory and all that other stuff. Like, I don't know how it works, but in a simulator, like it works. Like they will convince you, right? Physicists and stuff like that. Like time travel, like works on paper. Like you can work it. We got this, we got that. Like it. Too much, too much. Stop. No. I'm not Goodwill Hunting. I don't solve problems on chalkboards at prestigious universities. So I don't get it. I don't want to get it. I don't get it. So just I don't know. It's just too much for me, okay? Like great. Time travel like theoretically. I don't want to know about theoretically. I want to know about what you can or what you can't do. So, can you create runs for the other team because you're so bad at the plate? I don't know. I don't think that's possible, but who knows what the algo says. Bro, you're so bad. You just created a half a run for the other team standing in the batter's box. Like, and if so, Patrick Bailey was close to that. Think about that. 100 is league average. He was 16. 16. What? I mean, come on. So I like that. I'm sure that's what Buster Posey was thinking. And FP Santangelo brought up something on his podcast that I thought was interesting. That they weren't real thrilled with what happened in Philly. You remember they had bats? I want to say it was maybe Stotts and Schwarber were the two guys. I'm not positive, but I think remember the doubleheader where he just kept throwing pitches over and over and over. I think it was Wynn, wasn't it? Wynn kept throwing like his changeup or his split. I think it was like a split change or whatever. And he just kept throwing it over and over and over and over. And I think Dave Fleming and I talked about it, like about changing the eye level or something, not throwing the exact same pitch over and over and over and over and over and over and over, to where ultimately it came back to bite you twice. Like those were pitches that he called, and I don't know how that played in the clubhouse with the manager and the coaches. I don't know how that played with Posey. I don't know. I don't know if it was a factor at all. I know what is a factor. When anything's a league average of 100 and you have a 16, that's a problem. Now, is it a problem if Devers is hitting, if Adames is hitting, if Chapman is hitting? Like hell, if anybody else is hitting, like this is the worst offense in the big leagues. Period. And you have more, and you can't have an out. The NL got rid of the DH years ago. And Patrick Bailey basically said, like, oh no, they didn't. If you guys forgotten how pitchers looked batting, I'm gonna bat for you. That's what it looked like. And I hate to say that because I mean I've had Patrick Bailey on the show. Super cool dude. I wanted him to do well. It's just look at the numbers. Those look like pitcher numbers. Those look like pitcher numbers. Oh, by the way, you want more pitcher numbers? Bader's coming back tonight. They give you some pitcher numbers. So, with Susak and Rodriguez, I think they felt like, okay, the defense will be good enough and the offense will be way better. We'll see. It's a risk. You give away somebody that has that type of talent defensively, it's a risk. You better hope these guys can hit. Now, they don't got to hit a lot to be better hitters than Patrick Bailey, but when you consider how good he is defensively, you got to hit a little bit more than just to counteract that, right? You just have to. Like you're hoping the offense maybe doesn't cancel out what he brought defensively, but that your defense is good enough, and with the bat, you replace that. Because the Giants just could not handle more outs. They have enough outs in the lineup, and Patrick Bailey was, let's be honest, he was an automatic out. It was an out. I remember one hit from him this year. It's against the Dodgers. Home run. That was it. He didn't have that many more other than that. So it wasn't like I missed a whole lot. But defensively, again. So, look, I don't know who's right in this one. There's a lot of people out there on Twitter that think it was a terrible trade. This guy's fantastic defensively, and it wasn't his fault because that's who he is. And the other guys needed to start hitting because that's what they're getting paid to do. Can't argue with that. There's also other people out there that said, look, they got two guys behind him that are pretty good. They can hit. We can't afford to have more outs in the lineup where they have plenty of outs in the lineup. This guy is an automatic out. We can't have that. And we get another pick in a strong draft and a left-handed pitcher. And so I can see that. This is not a trade I look at and go, what were they doing? Or, oh my gosh, what a great trade. I don't know. And look, I will trust one of the best catchers ever to evaluate a catcher. I will trust Buster Posey to evaluate a catcher. And so ultimately what it comes down to, and I've only said this 500 times, is the guys that are paid to hit better start hitting. Adames had a good game yesterday. Devers looks like he's starting to heat up a little bit. But those are the guys. So we'll see. We will see. And I have no idea how the pitchers feel about this. I have no idea how Webb feels about it, how Roop feels about it, how Ray feels about it, how Molly feels. I have no idea. I mean, not that I care that much about how Molly and Hauser feel about it. I think they're kind of short timers here, but Webb, and we'll see what happens with Ray. Ray could end up being an excellent trade chip if he keeps pitching like this and the Giants keep playing like this. That would seem to be a no brainer. And then the bullpen, I really don't care how they feel about it either. Not like they've been pitching that well that I should care like how they feel about it. So really, it's three guys like Roop, Webb, and actually two guys, Roop and Webb. I would say Ray, but again, I don't know if they keep playing like this. I don't know how much longer he's going to be around. All right, last thing. And then we'll get to the Giants lineup, and we'll take some comments. If you want to comment on Steve Kerr and the Warriors, you want to talk about Bailey and the Giants, we can certainly do that. Wemby's elbow last night against the Minnesota Timberwolves. This is what happens when guys who are big, he's not big, he's tall, but feel like they're kind of being taken advantage of and being roughed up and not being officiated the same as everyone else is. And it's hard. Like I remember Shaq was like this because Shaq got the living crap beat out of him. But officials let it go a lot of times because, well, he could take it. That never made any sense to me. If it's a foul, it's a foul. It's not, well, look how big and strong he is. He could take it. I got to give the defense a chance. No, you don't. No, you don't. If it's a foul, it's a foul. Call it. Same with Wemby. Oh my gosh, I got to let him be somewhat physical with him because look how tall he is. If I don't let him be physical, they don't have a chance. Who cares? If it's a foul, it's a foul. Call it. And I think Wemby got a little bit tired of being roughed up. And that's the way I would play him. I'd try to be as physical with him as possible. What else? What chance do you have? You're not going to let him walk you in and then just throw it up and you jump like you're in third grade, like, and then he just catches it and dunks it over you, like big boy in you. Like, yeah, I'm just a little kid. I can't get that. So the T-Wolves are playing him physical. And again, I would too. But my goodness, that elbow, like, that you can't do. If you want to elbow somebody, elbow him in the ribs. But I guess Wemby maybe thought he was elbowing him in the ribs, and he just – that's how tall Wemby is. Go ahead and show this and then show Dylan Harper's face because this was my face last night. Like, oh, God, bam. Dylan Harper is like, oh, damn. Ooh, you okay, bro? Like, ooh, I look like that hurt. Damn. Mental note. Don't make Wemby mad. Of course, Wemby didn't even know what a flagrant 2 meant. He asked Harrison Barnes on the bench, yo, what mean flagrant 2, Rambo? What do you mean flagrant 2? You're fucking out of here. You can kick your ass out for a flagrant 2. That's a great look. And that was a flagrant 2 all the way. All the way. That was not during the game. That wasn't just like, hey, get off me. Like I got a rebound. That was like, I'm going to stop here and then I'm just going to blast you right in the face with an elbow. And Naz Reid just took it. Just wore that one. And how did it affect the game? T-Wolves had 50 points in the paint. 2 games they've won, they've had 50-plus points in the paint. They had 52 in game 1. The next 2 games, I want to say they had like 36, 38, somewhere around there, and then 50 last night. Like the Spurs pushed them. Spurs had it. Like Spurs not had it, but they were right there, had a chance at it. Hit a shot here, hit a shot there. They win, and then the series is over at that point. I still think the Spurs probably win, but T-Wolves, they're good. That's a good team. That's a good team. And Shannon's playing well for him. DeSumo is back, and he gives him a little boost offensively. So it'll be interesting. But look, Wemby is such a massive part of what they do offensively and defensively. Like it centers around him. He's the sun. He's the center of the universe for the Spurs. So, but if you want to hit somebody, that's like if you want to throw at somebody in baseball, you could throw at them. Just keep it below the shoulders. if you want to throw an elbow, you throw it, but throw it below the. I mean, you can get somebody in the solar plexus and double them up real quick, but not. You can't do that. I mean, it can't be an elbow to the chops. That's dangerous. I mean, you could really hurt somebody. Hit him in the chin, knock him out. Hit him in the temple. Who knows where that goes? So he just got to. Wemby's got to understand this. He's going to dominate for years to come, and guys are going to get frustrated because they're not going to be able to stop it because he's so tall and so skilled that you just don't have a lot of options other than be physical. He's not big. He's still somewhat slight, and you can get him off his base, and you have to. You just have to make him feel you over and over and over again. If you're just going to play a finesse running up and down the court, like we're not going to be physical, like he'll bury you, absolutely embarrass you, and you won't have a chance. So with him, you have to be physical. And if you're overly physical, then he's going to want to do stuff like this, but you can't throw elbows above the neck. That's never gonna fly. I know some are arguing that Wemby should get suspended. That's good enough. I mean, he missed that game. When did he miss? What did he play? Like 12 minutes in the game? I don't know exactly how many minutes he played. Let's see. Let me look. I'm on baseball right now. NBA. Let's see. Give me 1 second and I will get it for you. It's taking way long. I'm like very disappointed in myself. I usually have this stuff really quick. 12 minutes. I should have just went with that. 12 minutes he played. So don't you say I think it was 14. You let me do the minutes. So there you go. I mean, 12 minutes and he missed a game. So I don't think he needs to be suspended for another game. Like that's good enough. And it's not like he's a repeat offender. It's not like he's done stuff in the past where you're like, oh my gosh, this guy is a menace. He's a menace to everyone on the basketball court. Now, this was out of character. It seemed to be out of character for Wembanyama. So that's good by me. All right, Dodgers get the Giants tonight. Let's go ahead and throw up a lineup. Let's see what the Giants and Dodgers have going on. I know McDonald's and Sasaki are pitching. Hey, the Dodgers actually got someone from Japan who's not that good. You should be happy. Roki Sasaki is not like everything they had hoped he would be. He may still be that, but he is not right now. And so if you're at least hang your hat on that one, Giants fans, just for the heck of it. He's pitched 28 and 2/3 innings, has a 5.97 ERA, a 1.67 WHIP. He wasn't good last year either. He's okay coming out of the pen, especially in the playoffs. But look, they paid a lot of money for him. It's about time. It's about time they got someone who's like, yeah, that might have been a mistake. Not that it matters, but can we blow that up a little bit so I could see it? I see Otani and Mookie and Freeman. Okay, Tucker. Yep. Smith, Muncy. Muncy's had a hell of a start to the year. So has Pages too. Boy, that's not a bad lineup when you have Teoscar Hernandez batting eighth. That's a pretty good lineup. And the Giants go with Jung-Hoo Lee, Arise, who's been good. Schmidt's been solid. Like I said, Devers starting to hit a little bit. Ramos, Adames, Chapman. Look, Bader. I looked at Bader's OPS this year. It's like worse than Bailey's. Like I don't know what his weighted runs created are, but it can't be too much north of 16, can it? I don't feel like looking it up. But that I was going to say that's where Adames and Chapman should be batting. Like they shouldn't be like Adames was leading off this year. That didn't make any sense to me. He strikes out too much. He's a guy that's going to hit some home runs. You want him to run into them down in the order. Maybe there'll be some guys on base. Same with Chapman. Like Chapman's always been like a mid 700, 770 OPS guy. And so he's a guy that you want down in the order. Like his value is that he can get hot, hit some home runs, hit some doubles, but and his defense. That's what, like, right? Like that's what you're hoping, that he runs into a few. Like that, to me, that lineup. Now, I wouldn't have expected Casey Schmidt to be third. I would maybe have expected Devers to be third, and then Ramos. But you're going lefty lefty, righty lefty righty, and then you got all your righties down toward the bottom of the order. So, like, I don't know what the point of bringing up Eldridge was. You have to ask them that. I'm not sure. He hasn't done anything that I've looked at that go, oh, he needs to be in the lineup right now. But yeah, I would like to see him, but I don't know. Are we gonna first base? I don't want him in there for Schmidt right now. I mean, Schmidt's actually he's been better than anybody else swinging the bat with the Giants so far this year. I don't know. I think his OPS has dropped a little bit. It's not in the 900s anymore. It's like 843. So he's starting to come back down to earth a little bit. But hey, if he can have an OPS in the 800s at all, that's pretty good. The problem with Schmidt is, I think he's good enough defensively where you'd like him playing on the left side of the infield to really maximize his value. But you can't, because that's where the guys you signed to the big contracts are. He's not playing short. He's not playing third. And he's not even playing second, because Arias has been really good at second. And he can hit. So it's like you're left with first base and DH. And I just think that you lose some of his value when you don't play him at one of those positions. So is what it is. But, you got to – hitting right now is kind of a priority. Like you just score some runs. That would be nice. But, man, that Dodger lineup is – whew. That's a that's a pretty good lineup. A pretty good lineup. And Ohtani's not even hitting. Like Ohtani's not even hitting. I haven't looked at Betts yet. I know Betts hasn't played a ton of games. In fact, this is going to be his 9th game, so his numbers aren't even worth looking at. Freeman's numbers, I don't think he's been overly. Yeah, it's 760 OPS. Tucker's been horrible the last I checked. He's up to 736 now, but that's still nothing special. Ohtani is probably only around 900 something in the OPS category, which for him is like, oh, he's 792. I didn't know he was going that bad. Woo! Shh. Shh. Don't say anything. Maybe they'll sleep to the series. Nobody wake them up. Will Smith, 700. Muncy's got to be in the 800-900 range, doesn't he? I mean, Muncy's been on fire. Yeah, 919. Pajes, he was in the 900s for a long time. Still is 946. So your thump for the Dodgers is down near the bottom of the order, but you're hoping just to quietly sneak down there, tiptoe in. And get out of there without waking any of these dudes up, because they haven't been great. Snell did come back. Started the first game. He didn't pitch great. It is better than his numbers suggested. Strider looked really good, though. Strider looked really good. And by the way, I don't know if you guys watched it. I told you last week, if you get a chance, watch Jacob Mizorowski for the Brewers. I mean, if you don't have extra innings, you're not gonna be able to watch it. But anytime you get a chance to watch that dude, he's fun to watch pitch. I watched him against the Yankees last week. 6 innings, 10 strikeouts. I think it was 10, maybe 11. First inning, 103, 103, 103, 102, 102, 103, 103, 102, 103, 102. It's just like, holy cow. This guy's long, lanky, and just a real easy and just by you. Like, whew, see ya. He's fun. So, like, there's a few pitchers in Major League Baseball right now that, like, if you get a chance to watch them, watch them. Skeens is one of them. Skubal is one of them, but he's hurt now. Mizorowski's definitely one of them. Like, you definitely want to take your time out of your busy schedule if you get a chance to watch him pitch, because he's fun to watch pitch. So, all right, we're gonna take let's throw some comments up there. Anything you want to get into, we could do that before we get out of here. When do we get the basketball game on tonight? 5? Yeah, little Pistons Cavs. Just real quick, I'll give you a real quick. I'll get back to that. Keep that up there for me, just to let you know what's going on. Pistons Cavs. Quick take on that one. I still think the Pistons are the better team. They're going to figure out a way to win this series. Cavs are just too loosey goosey. They just do too many things, and I'm like, what are we doing? What are we doing? What's the goal here? Like, last game, Harden came up huge. I know he gets ripped all the time during the playoffs. Numbers speak for themselves, so it is what it is. But he came up huge for him. Hit 3 big shots for him down toward the end of the game, and they managed to outlast the Pistons and make the series 2-1. We'll see what they can do tonight. Thunder Lakers, not even worth talking about. Knicks Sixers over. That mean goodbye. And then we talked a little bit about the Spurs and the Timberwolves. And I think getting Wemby back, keeping the Spurs out of the paint, is going to be the ticket for the Spurs. And I think it's ultimately going to be Spurs OKC. I don't know when Jalen Williams coming back. Jay Williams coming back. I'm not sure. I think they might need him. Although AJ Mitchell's been fantastic, but they might need him against the Spurs. And then Stanley Cup playoffs. We'll see if the Wild can pull even 2-2. Canadians, I watched that game. Canadians were way better than the Sabres yesterday. 6-2 doesn't even tell you how much better they were than the Sabres yesterday. And the Ducks Knights, I know the Ducks are, everybody thinks, the Ducks young. I'm not sure how they're going to do. Hey, look, Ducks have looked good. They looked good against the Oilers. They looked good against the Knights. Not going to surprise me at all to see the Ducks win this series. Ducks have been playing some really, really good hockey. And then Hurricanes Flyers is over. That went the way of the Knicks Sixers. 4-0. Thanks for coming. Not even a gentleman's sweep. Not even a reach around. Like, just get the fuck out of here. Like, beat it. I ain't going to deal with you. Like, just get out. So we'll see. We'll see if Colorado can come back, and because it looked like it's heading toward Colorado, Carolina, but got to get there. Got to get there first. Who's he coaching? We'll see. We'll see who he's coaching. Steph will be there. Other than that, I can't guarantee you anybody's going to be there. Can't guarantee you Draymond's going to be there. Can't guarantee you Jimmy Butler is going to be there. I don't know. I think they are open for business. I think they will take calls on anybody. They're not going to sell cheap. They're going to want a star in return. They're going to want a running mate for Steph. What does that look like? Big, wing, rim, protector, get to the rim type guy, that type of guy. How many of those guys are out there? Not a ton. Not a ton. That's why they get paid a bleep load of money. Why did I say bleep load? Sometimes I say shit ton of money. Sometimes I bleep. Why would I say bleep? I have no idea. All right, give me another comment. But I don't know. We'll see as the and by the way, if I didn't say anything, I don't know. I don't know what's going on with Eldridge. I don't know if he has to. I don't know. I haven't looked that deep into it. I got to be honest with you. I've been watching the Giants, but not every single game. It's tough. NBA playoffs, NHL playoffs. I always prioritize playoffs when it comes to sports. This is the best time of the year, so I want to make sure I'm one of the guys that watches the baseball playoffs over NFL when it's baseball playoffs time. Why? Because it's playoffs. Playoffs are the best part of each sport. And I can't answer that for you. What did I make of Brothers going to Finch? I don't know. No, Brothers, I don't think Brothers has that. And for those that don't know what Andis is talking about, Brothers went at Finch because Finch went at Brothers because he thought he owed him. Like, he called a timeout and he didn't give it to him. And then by the time he gave it to him, he was yelling at him. And then Brothers was yelling at Finch, and Finch was saying, you cost me 3 seconds. I need to get to the huddle. And then he said something, and then Brothers came right over. And now I do know this about Tony Brothers. He's not going to take any of your crap. I don't care who you are as a coach. He's not going to take any of your crap. So I don't know what Finch said. I don't know what Brothers said. Like, I don't know if I could tell you who was out of line without knowing what each one of them said. If I knew that, then I could tell you if he was out of line or not. But without knowing that, I'm just guessing. Like, I'm just guessing. And like plenty of people, all you got to do is go on Twitter or Instagram or whatever social media. You'll find plenty of people that guess. I'm not going to guess, so I don't know. I don't know what he said. So, oh, I do love the people that that are showing me on Twitter, showing me little movies, little highlights of people in shorts and t-shirts running around at rookie camp last week. I don't know how many of those I got. Mostly Niners, but not all Niners. I'm like, will you people stop with this? Like, I know you need content. I know you need stuff to talk about, but can we get them in pads first? How about that? How about we get them in pads before you break them down? Okay, we're going to start critiquing guys who aren't even in pads. Last I checked, they play that sport in pads. So I would like to see him in pads before I start thinking, I like this guy or I don't like this guy. Really, what I'm saying is, let me see him in a preseason game. And then, even at that, let me see him in a regular season game before I start making up my mind. What I really do not care about, one way or the other, is what a guy looks like in shorts and a t-shirt. It's like, what do I care what a guy looks like in a batting cage? I care less what he looks like in a batting cage. Show me in a box, batters preferably, against a pitcher. And then show that to me in the regular season. And I'll let you know what I think about him. All right, what else we got? We got nothing? What do I make of the Sorsby scandal? You know what? I thought about that because I thought, could I have done that? I'll give you guys something I told. I was over at and I'll get to your question. I did a speaking engagement over at the Olympic Club last week. Really cool guys. They have their basketball league and they wanted me to come speak to them. So I was telling stories and all that. And I told a story I don't know that I've told before, or I don't tell very often. And I will tell here because statute of limitations is clearly run out on this. But I thought about this when I thought of the Sorsby situation. And for those who don't know, you don't know who Brendan Sorsby is. He's a former quarterback at Cincinnati, transferred to Texas Tech, and looks like he's going to be ineligible to play this year because he bet on his team when he was at Indiana. I know I didn't mention that team, did I? Years ago, I think he was like a redshirt freshman, wasn't playing. They had no direct effect on the game. And since then, he has bet a lot, but not a lot of money, just a lot. Like, the micro bets, they call them, or is this going to be a strike? Is this going to be a first down? I don't know. I think they're mostly baseball bets, but it was like a lot of betting every day, but like for $1, $2, $1.50, whatever the case may be. And like, I didn't have those options, and I've gambled a lot since the time I was probably 12. From playing cards to going to the horse track to betting on doing pools that I used to come up with pools for doing fantasy sports back when I was in high school and stuff. I did not have the green visor, the green see-through visor, and the pencil or the pen behind my ear. But yeah, like we do all kinds of stuff gambling. So when I was at Arizona, and this probably would have been frowned on back then, probably would be frowned on today, but it wasn't. I never bet on my team, whether pro or college. But I did bet on other teams in my given sport. So back in the day when I was playing at Arizona, I would occasionally bet on other conference games. Didn't have any inside information. I thought I knew better because I played against each team. I thought I would have an inside track on who was good, who wasn't good, who should win. Come to find out, I really didn't. It doesn't help you. The line, for those of you that want to know, the line's a whole different animal. Like, it's just, if you know sports, it doesn't really help you that much with the line. You better know gambling. You better know lines, and you better know why they're set there, and you better have a line of your own to compare against it. There's just so many things that happen when it comes to gambling. But I would bet on other conference games. So we might be playing Washington State or something, and I would bet on a USC Arizona State game. Well, they wouldn't be playing Arizona State. Arizona State would be playing Washington. USC Cal, right? And I'd say, I think Cal's better than USC. They're getting 3. I'll take Cal. So at the end of the game, most teams we had blown out at that point. I'd be sitting on the bench, and I would sit there, and they would at a timeout. You'd just be listening to Coach Olson. Coach Olson's talking, okay, here's what we're going to do. 35-point game. At that point, I didn't care what he was telling the Gumbies, what their game plan was going to be against Wazoo. But what I did care about is when the guy in the PA came over the PA and said, let's take a look at some of the out-of-town scores. What? Okay, here we go. It'd be like Stanford 72, UCLA 84. And I was like, you always give the bigger score first, okay? Don't screw me like that. Cal 81, USC 75. Yes. And if they had the camera on me, you'd see me just give a little fist pump. I doubt that would be acceptable today. I doubt that was acceptable back then. I bet on our football team back when I was at Arizona. There's you could ask Steve this, you could ask Sean Elliott this, you could have Craig McMillan this. Like, everyone has this story. I'm not sure why this story. Maybe they like this story. Maybe they think it's a fun story. But we were sitting in there, and this is after a Saturday practice. So we practice Saturday. And generally speaking, after a Saturday practice, we'd all come into the locker room, and we had a big couch and a big screen TV, and everyone would watch the big game of the day, whether that would be, Ohio State versus Iowa, or maybe it was a Pac-10. Yeah, there was a Pac-10 back in the day. Maybe it was USC, Oregon, UCLA, whatever it was. Didn't really even matter what it was. So we'd all go in there after practice and mill about and take our showers or whatever, or maybe even before the shower, and sit on the couch and watch the games. And Lou would sit down with us and watch some football occasionally. So I come in after shooting. I don't know if I was one of the last ones on the court, but there was 3 or 4, 5, 6 guys on the couch and Lou watching the games. And I'd come in, and I had a bet on, I forget who it was, like East Carolina, NC State. Not a big game by any stretch. So I would come in, and they'd be giving the out-of-town scoreboard. So all the schools that you knew at the time, right? Like Okie State, Oklahoma, TCU, Florida State, whatever, and they'd run through the scores. And I went to the game that I had bet on, and I would ask somebody. I remember I asked, and then Lute was part of this as well. I go, does anybody see the NC State East Carolina game? And Steve just laughed. And Lute looked at me and said, no, I haven't seen that one. Like, clearly, Lute didn't recognize that I was asking to see how my bet was doing at the time. Like, why? Like, it didn't register. Why would he be asking about the Wolfpack versus the Pirates? That makes no sense. Like, who cares about that game? Why? That's not even a big game. I cared about it, not in who was winning. I cared about it in a sense, was East Carolina within 10 of NC State? That's what I cared about. So, and they weren't big bets. They were like $50, $30, $40. That's kind of what I bet back then. But that would have been frowned upon. I'm sure would have been frowned upon. Although I was set up one time. Lute knew I bet football. I told him it was cards because we used to have a free throw board in our locker room, and everybody had to keep track of their free throws. Go out there, shoot 50 free throws, and write how many you made out of 50. And it was like, okay, 48 out of 50 for Steve, 47 out of 50, 48 out of 50 for McMillan, Sean Elliott, 45 out of 50, Tolbert, 44 out of 50, whatever. So after every practice, you'd shoot 50 free throws, you write it on the board. So after one practice, it said the normal, Steve, 47 out of 50, Mick, 47 out of 50, Elliott, 47 out of 50. But for me, it didn't say how many free throws I made. It said Tolbert, Jets -3, Steelers +6, Browns -2. Ha, ha, ha. Funny, right? It's funny. It is true. Okay, let's throw the betting angle in there. That'll be funny. Everybody get a kick out of that. Except the next day, I got called into Lute's office. Not as funny as it was. Went in there, sat down, and Lute said, "Tom, do you bet on football?" And I had to think pretty quick because I was like, I could lie, say I don't bet on football, or I could say, yes, I bet on football. But I didn't want to make it seem like I was a degenerate. Clearly I was. So I said, yeah, I bet on football, but only the cards, the parlay cards, the ones you get at the bars and stuff, like $5, bet on those, bet on the cards. I mean, I didn't want to tell him I bet $50, a game, and I had 9 games on a Saturday that I was following. And, you lose all 9. That was going to hurt at that point because it's not like this was pre-NIL. So God help me if I had NIL back then. Holy cow. That would not have been great for me. So he's like, okay, just, be careful with that. You shouldn't be doing that. Okay, coach, fine. I probably left there, and 30 minutes later, probably placed a bet on a Saturday night game because I was like, okay, who are we playing? What are we getting? 7? We getting 7.5? Okay, let's take the Cats. We're good. So I don't know. I don't want to kill Sorsby because I could have been doing the same thing. I didn't. Obviously, I grew up 70s and 80s, and betting was much different back then. You bet a total, you bet a game. You bet the game, or you bet the total. That was it. Nowadays, you can bet first pitch. You can bet a play in basketball. You can bet these, the over-unders on somebody's points, somebody's rebound, somebody's assist. You can combine them all together. There's just so much more going on now. And I kind of hate the way it is. I gamble, and I've gambled forever, but I hate the way they sell it. I hate the way they package it. It just bothers me. Look, you should, and by the way, I'm a firm believer you should have the right to do whatever you want with your money. Don't make it seem like it's super easy like they do. $5, you get 150 back. You're good. What could go wrong? Yeah. I'll tell you exactly what could go wrong. I'm not going to do it, but I could. I've seen it. It's not pretty. So with Sorsby, I think you got, if you're the NCAA, you got to draw a line at some point. It can't be, okay, we can't have these guys gambling and playing sports. We can't do it. Now, it's no longer the seedy back alley bookie that you bet with, and you don't bet on your sport to begin with, and then all of a sudden you find yourself down $500, and he says, hey, I'll wipe that marker clean if you help me with this game. That's all I want, one game. Well, I could tell them it's never going to be one game, because after one game, then they'll say, if you don't help me next game, I will turn you in for helping us that game. So that's what everyone was worried about back in the day, that once the bookies, mobsters, gang, whoever was affiliated with them got their hooks in you, then they could just keep you fixing games as long as they wanted to. They would tell you, look, just one more game, but you were on the hook at that point. you were on the hook. You had no leverage, and you lost your leverage when you went down $500, not even betting on your sport. So that was one thing I was always pretty good at, for the most part, being able to pay off what I was betting, like not getting too far over my skis. It happened, but I could see where if it's that type of gambling, it's a huge problem. Well, now it's legal. So now it's tougher to regulate. I'm sure Sorsby had he had multiple accounts. He may have had one in his name. He probably had some that weren't in his name. And you just don't want the illusion of impropriety. That's the worst thing that can happen to any league is, hey, this isn't real. What you're watching isn't real. And obviously in college football, that can't happen. Now, he has some big time lawyer getting ready to go after the NCAA or go after whoever, presumably so he can play, so he could get his NIL. I think they said the NIL was $5 million at Texas Tech this year. I don't know if that's true, not true. Is it within a million or two? No idea. I don't know what he's getting paid. Clearly, it's a lot of money that he's going to miss out on. And like this is also something that stains your reputation because the NFL doesn't want this either. Now, the NFL is different than college sports in that the NFL, you can bet on anything that's not NFL related. NBA, you can bet on anything that's not NBA related. So, Summer League, WNBA, NBA games, obviously. I think baseball is the same thing. I think every sport is fairly similar, I think, in that you can bet not on our sport. Anything having to do with our sport, you cannot bet on. Okay. But if you play basketball and you want to bet on football, fine. Fine. It's legal. You do what you want to do. Are we going to have guys like Billups and Rozier and guys like that get into trouble because of this? Of course. Had trouble before this, before it became legal. But there are going to be instances of players that feel like I can get away with this. Trust me, you can't get away with this. You're not as smart as you think you are, and the algorithms are going to catch up to you. At some point, they will notice betting irregularities. They will track it back to you, and you will be screwed. So my advice to you is take your $80 million contract, play hoops, and enjoy. That's what you should be doing. Billups is a little bit different because those are like poker games that apparently are rigged. Seriously, what are you doing? What are we doing here? What are we doing? So I don't think Sorsby is ever going to play again. The bets that he made on baseball, I don't think that bothers the NCAA like it would, but I think they could get away with the 2-game suspension, 3-game suspension, because it wasn't NCAA football, and they were really, really small bets, Like from what I read, $1, $2, $3. Again, is this pitch going to be a strike? Is this pitch going to be going to be a hit? It's going to be hit to right left field. Like I'm assuming they have all this. Like I'm pretty naive when it comes to that type of wagering. I don't know, but they have a lot of different options that you can. I never have, and I never will. I'm pretty old school when it comes to that. It's pretty much straight bets, over-unders, and sides, and that's it. Parlays, no. Teasers occasionally. I do love a good 2-team teaser, but not a lot of the small stuff. But I think what they're going to say is, look, you bet. Not only do you bet on NCAA football, you bet on your own team. Even though he wasn't playing, even though he didn't affect the outcome of the game, they'll still think you had some sort of maybe information and maybe you passed it along to somebody. Like that's what they're afraid of. And I don't know that the NCAA wants to go down the road of the professional sports leagues where they say, hey, look, you can bet on stuff, just not NCAA football. The problem is these leagues are all in bed with FanDuel and DraftKings and MGM and whoever, right? I mean, that's how they're making they're making money. Like they don't care at this point. Clearly, the leagues do not care. And the NFL went from, oh my God, don't ever mention Vegas in anything we do ever, ever. How many years did Al Michaels, Brett Musburger have to dance around the line? There's a lot of people that like that kick. Oh, the wise guys in Vegas enjoyed that, like, stuff like that. Now they don't even have to. You just come right out and say it. You know how I know? Because I'll be watching an NBA game or a baseball game, and the lines are on the crawl below the game. They're just there. Like the Spurs won by 7. They were laying 5. It's like right there. It's Spurs -5. Total was 212. And see how you like it's totally ingrained in all the sports now, and that's what makes it tough. So with the Swarsby situation, I don't think he's ever going to play again because of the Indiana thing. But it shouldn't have. Hopefully, it won't have anything to do with the other one, because while he bet a lot, he didn't bet that much, and it wasn't their sport. Mike Brown's been great. Mike Brown's been fantastic. We'll see the health of OG Anunoby. Now, Detroit had their number. If Detroit gets through, Detroit had their number earlier this year, but they're playing some really good ball. I'm a big fan of them. I'm still not sure they're deep enough, but yeah, I like Mike, and I'd like to see them do well because he's a good dude. He's a really good dude. And like it's a good I like Hart's my favorite guy on the team. Like I'm a big fan of Hart. Uh the depth worries me a little bit. I mean, McBride got hot last game. Mitchell Robinson, he's a valuable guy as far as like we're gonna clog up the middle. We're gonna defend the rim. He's good on lobs. Cat's been playing well. So no, I mean I like the team. Them versus Detroit would be interesting. I think that'd be an interesting Eastern Conference Finals. But yeah, they could. Could they represent the East in the finals? Absolutely. The way they're playing right now, I mean, they're just rolling people. They rolled the Hawks. They rolled the Sixers the last few games. So we'll see what they got for either the Pistons or the Cavaliers in the Eastern Conference Finals. All right, I'm going to get out of here. Unless anybody has anything that they feel like we need to hit on. Because I'm hungry and I want to go watch the games. Watch the games, get a little hockey on, a little basketball on, a little baseball on. Hell, I might just go try box right now. Just like box it up. Boop, boop, boop. There we go. What's that? Tonight's series deciding between Montreal and Minnesota. Montreal and Minnesota don't play each other. Are you talking about Minnesota and Colorado? Is that one got canceled? I mean, I still have it here. I don't know. I mean, I'm assuming you're talking Minnesota and the Avalanche. But does we have any news on that? I can't read it. Okay, tonight's game 5. Yeah, I'm not following the Walter Cup. I gotta be honest. I gotta be honest with you. I like hockey. I'm not that big a hockey fan. So I mean, I don't even know where that's being played. And what is the Walter Cup? Like for those of you puckheads out there, what the hell is the Walter Cup? Yeah. TSN. So that's up in Canada. Don't you know? Yeah, I don't know the Walter Cup. So that's a game. So yeah, I don't know. Gabriel must follow hockey a little closer than I do. I was like, what the hell? Like Montreal and Minnesota, like, yeah, we're not playing each other. What we got going on here? The Walter Cup. Okay, now you're gonna make me do it, aren't you? Walter Cup. Let's see what the Walter Cup is. Walter Cup is the championship trophy awarded to the winner of the Professional Women's Hockey League. There you go. I had no idea. No idea. I had no idea as a woman. I guess professional women's PW. I probably could have got that. So there you go. I did not know that. Don't hold it against me though. I had no idea. So there we go. We look like we all learned something today. Somebody asked you about the Walter Cup. You know what they're talking about from here on out. All right, everybody. Thank you very much for joining the show. I appreciate it. Every time I think, okay, we're just going to hit a couple things. I'm never in and I'm never out. It just doesn't work that way for me. So thank you very much for everybody hanging in there. You can enjoy tell a friend. Then you can enjoy the show later. It's a great thing about the podcast. You don't need to enjoy it now. You don't need to consume it now. You do it later. Like, hey, you interested in this? Watch it later. You're good to go. Like, subscribe if you feel so moved to do so. I would appreciate that. Enjoy the games tonight. Again, Dodgers and Giants tonight. We'll see if the Giants can get on a little bit of a roll. The offense got going a little bit. Kind of sputtered a little bit against the Pirates. We'll see if they can get it going against the Dodgers. So again, Steve Kerr will join me, but probably not for a couple weeks. He's got a little vacation planned, got some stuff to do with the Warriors this week that takes precedent over the show. I was a little hurt by that, I got to say. But he said when he gets back from his vacation, he will come on, join me in the backyard. So not sure exactly what we have going on this week. We might just have more of me, meaning more of us. And that's never a bad thing either. So until next time, I'll talk to you. Have a great evening and enjoy the games. See you.
And remember this, Tommy T. Cash and tickets is what it's all about.